What's up, guys? My name's John. I'm an emergency medicine physician assistant, and in this video I'm going to share with you how to ace your PA school interview. And then in the second part of the video I'm going to talk about the most common PA school interview questions and how you can kind of prepare to answer them correctly. And I'm just going to give you guys some general interview tips. Why me? I was class vice president for my PA school. I was actually tasked with doing the PA school interviews. The tour guide portion of the interviews. So we would meet all of the interviewees. We would show them around campus. We would answer any questions they had about, living situation or how school or what have you. And so you get like the kind of behind the scenes interview perspective. And I have some very good tips on how you can ace that interview. I know it could be very daunting for some people. You might not be good at interviewing. So hopefully this video helps you guys do a really good job. First and foremost, dress up professionally, look good on your interview day, whether that means if you go get a haircut, a week or two before your interview, if you have something decent to wear. You don't have to go out and buy a $3,000 suit for your PA school interview. Keep it, business casual. It'll give you some confidence. It'll make you look good. Secondly is, you would think this was common sense, but you should be kind and respectful to everybody. You gain nothing from being competitive with the other PA school applicants there. You gain nothing by being mean to other people. When you're on your interview, you're being watched 24/7. So it's not that hard. The interview is like a couple hours. Just be on your best behavior for a few hours. You can do it. I believe in you. The faculty are going to ask you a bunch of common questions, which I'll talk about. Your goal is obviously to answer the common questions as well as possible, but it's also to stand out. You're not just a GPA. You're not just thousands of hours of healthcare experience. You're not just some GRE score. You're a person, and your goal is to highlight that in your interview. You highlight that in your personal statement. That's why it has the word person in it, personal. It's towards you. And you do the same thing with your interview. So my biggest tip to PA school interviewers is answer those standard generic questions as quickly and appropriately as you can, and interject a lot of personality into it though. During my PA school interview, I remember I was interviewing with the director of the program, and I was answering her questions. Yeah, I saw an Eiffel Tower on her desk. And this is coming from the guy that studied abroad in France, used to live in France. I speak French fluently. So, just natural conversation. You want to have a conversation with people. And I just said, I see that Eiffel Tower on her desk. Have you been to France? She's like, yeah, my husband and I went to Paris or what have you, right? Maybe 10 or 15 minutes of us talking about France, French, etc., 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 and my experiences there. And I segued some of that into how learning French, second language, is like learning medicine. How you have to kind of step out of your comfort zone, and there's just new terminology and new things that you need to kind of try to grasp, right? That might not make sense at first. It seems very corny or something now, right? But you look back at it, and it was very natural. I'm not saying you go in with a preconceived story. It was all natural, but it was relevant to me. It leaves a lasting impression more so than this person just went through the interview questions. Now, some interviewers will keep it strictly towards the questions. I've had some where they don't really let you branch out a ton. Be on point with answering your questions. Be concise and specific. And when you're answering these questions, take 5-10 seconds and actually think of what you're going to say. You don't have to speak a million miles a minute. Don't let being nervous take over. Think about what you're going to say. And you have to understand that the PA school interview, it goes both ways. So the school is trying to determine if you're a good fit for their program, ultimately, but it's also your chance during the interview to see if the school is kind of right for you, So you have to ask about living situation. You need to see, do you want to commit here for the next 2 or 3 years? It's not a one-way kind of street. You're assessing the program and the program's assessing you. Don't forget that. And so hopefully these questions that I'm going to share with you guys right now help you prepare for that. Don't memorize the script, but you should definitely have some sense of an answer towards these, okay? And guys, really quick, before I tell you those questions, if you're enjoying the video or this video, you find this video helpful, hit that like button. It really helps out my channel. It helps us get seen by more people. So guys, what are the most common PA school interview questions that you're gonna get? And believe it or not, they're pretty straightforward. It's not trying to trick you or anything. First off, why do you want to be a PA? Now they might frame it like, do you prefer PA over a nurse practitioner? Why do you prefer being a PA over a doctor? They might just leave it very open-ended, like, why do you want to be a PA? You need to be able to articulate your reasoning. Now, I don't know what your reasoning is, whether it's you want a work-life balance, you didn't want to become a nurse, you like the lateral mobility of being a PA, you have your reasoning. The important thing is, do not throw other professions under the bus. Just explain why PA is the best fit for you. A second super common interview question, I mean, almost every school will ask you, is why do you want to go to this school? They interview all these people. They all want to be PAs. They're pretty certain you want to be a PA. Why are they the ones that you want to go to? And honestly, it can't just be it's a PA school, right? So you have to know, I don't know, their mission statement. Maybe they're in an ideal location for you. You know, you love the state. Maybe there's something about their program or their curriculum or their faculty that you like versus other schools. Maybe there's things about tuition in their coursework or how they teach, right? Each university is not 100% carbon copy of another. Think about some things that are unique between them. It doesn't have to be super duper in depth, and it's funny. The reasoning doesn't have to be great reasoning. They just want to know that you have a reason, right? Come up with something for every school that you have an interview for, and just have that kind of in the back of your mind. Why do you want to go to that program? There has to be at least one or two reasons, right? Or else if you don't want to go there, you don't want to go there. Why are you interviewing? Another very common PA school question is, how do you handle stress? The programs want to know that you are prepared to handle everything that comes at them, because burnout in PA school is a very real thing, and they don't want to commit to somebody who's going to feel burnt out or fail out of their program or not pass the pants. So they want to know that you have created some ways to reduce stress. How do you typically answer this question? How did I answer it? I mean, at the time, I loved running and exercising reduces stress. So it was an activity that I like to do. You could also say how you decompress with friends, or that you vent and discuss a lot of your life with family members. A support system. You have a support system to help you get through tough times, especially in terms of academic stress, which is usually exams and performance tasks and stuff. You mentioned that, you know, you study little by little, you plan ahead, you try to study for things slowly and surely. That way, once you come up to an exam the night before, you're not stressed out. You actually calm down, you read a book, you watch some TV, and you relax, and you get a good night's sleep. That's your preparation versus stressing out and trying to cram or procrastinate, right? You come up with some strategies like that and you mention them because it is stressful. Acknowledge that you understand it'll be stressful. These are some of the things that you typically do in your day-to-day life to mitigate stress. Two more very common questions. So I don't know why PA school interviews and job interviews love this question. What is your greatest strength and what is your greatest weakness? It's like cliche at this point that I'm even talking to you about this, but people ask this type of question. And I mean, they ask you know why? Because it tells them a lot about you without necessarily making you think too hard about it. Give them something, right? You want to give them something with this question, but you don't want it to be a deal breaker in terms of your admission. So don't give them a weakness that's really a strength, and then they're going to be like,
oh my God, this person's amazing.
No, that's not how it works. Give them a legitimate weakness, but you know, something that you're working on, or you could tell them that how you're trying to improve it, right? It can't be like a deal-breaking weakness. And come up with a strength, a good strength, you know, related to how you work with others or whatever. You could figure out your own strength and weakness. And the last type of question, which is phrased in multiple different ways, yet seems to be asked at a lot of interviews, is about some sort of situation involving conflict resolution. Whether that is you see another student of yours in PA school cheating, or Whether you are in the workplace or you're in a healthcare workplace and you see somebody doing something that's wrong or unsafe, how do you address it? And it's a very telling question. Obviously, you fail the question if you say you're not going to do anything about it. They don't want you to turn a blind eye. The question usually comes down to communication, having good communication skills, talking to that individual, knowing when you need to go talk to a supervisor or, the faculty, trying to hear both sides of the story, trying to understand what's going on before you jump to conclusions, trying to discuss what you think is wrong about what they're doing and how they could fix it. You have to adapt to whatever they ask you, but you should know there should be some sort of conflict resolution question on, the interview. Depending on how long they schedule for interviews, they might ask you what a PA does. I doubt it, but they might ask you that. They might ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I think I was asked that once. Just remember that throughout the interview, it's you assessing the school and them assessing you, right? And you want to make your interview unique. You want to give them something that for them to say, oh, wow, I remember that guy. Oh, wow, I remember that girl. When they congregate together and they say whether they like you or not and whether they want you in their program or not, you want to leave a positive impression. I know it's hard, but it's only for 15 or 20 minutes max. So you can't get nervous. You just gotta be adaptable, be a human being, be very personable. This is your biggest impression. I mean, the school's already saying, hey, come to our facility, right? So you're in already a very small select group of people who have a very good chance of being accepted to that program. Here's the big glaring thing. If your stats don't speak for themselves, right? If there's a big hole in your application, if there's a big red flag on your application, be ready. Be ready to address that on your interview day, okay? So if your GPA was 3.1, you might have to tell them a story about why. I don't want you to freak out about that, but they pay attention to your stats and they want to clarify that type of stuff while they have you in front of them. It's not necessarily a deal breaker. Remember, like I said, if you're in their interview, you have a good chance of getting accepted to the program. So keep that in mind. Keep your chin up. You prepared for years for your PA school interview, and I'm sure you guys are going to kill it. I hope this video really helped you. I want you to go out there. I want you to do a good job on your interview. I want you to get into PA program. I want you to write down in the comments that you got accepted or that this video helped you prepare for your interview. And if you guys have any questions, any other concerns, hit up the comment section. Please like the video if you found it helpful. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm doing a lot of YouTube videos on PA related stuff. Follow me on Instagram. Feel free to DM me. Ask me questions about future videos. I'll be happy to help you guys. Stay safe. Have a great day.